Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of favorite midday NFL show on the
Woo!
Roundtable
Audio.
Sports fourth and forever. All right. We always give you all the news, all the rumors, all the breakdowns, all the hot takes Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. EST. And we have a great show for you today. We have a response to Trey Hendrickson. We have a couple of top 30 visits that just crossed the board, a trade that happened earlier this morning. So stay tuned. If you are watching live on YouTube, please do us a favor. Smash that like button for us, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications. So for those of you that are watching the replay of this episode, you could join us live tomorrow. And same goes to anybody that is listening on Spotify or anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you are enjoying yourself, please do us a favor and leave a rating and review. And also consider coming over to YouTube in case you want to be a part of our live chat community. Richie, talk to me, man. How's the good life?
What's up, man? It's good. Very rainy over here in New York, but where the vibes are excellent as always, man. Yeah, man. Excited for another day of fourth and forever. Let's get into it. Baseball season's underway, which is always a great thing. And we got football to talk about, basketball, playoffs around the corner. Vibes are high, man. I'm doing great.
Vibes are high over in Richie's neck of the woods. TD, how you doing? For the second week straight, we did not see you on the AFC East Roundtable last night.
Yes, I'm doing okay. I've been medicated, but I'm out of pain. That's a good
You need to
thing.
elaborate
So
that. People are going to interpret that.
oh well, I'm having some back issues, some severe back issues. It happens, but Richie's gonna help me out. We're gonna get some yoga in and stuff like that, and I'm gonna be healed soon. So
I mean, I'm teaching tomorrow morning and Saturday morning over here in Long Island, New York. You gotta get in your flight over here.
flight, man, you can't do virtual, Richie.
I can do virtual. I'll set up a
I was
Zoom.
about to say, yeah, man, most definitely. We can go on ahead and start buying some. Actually, we'll add a Patreons here for weekly access to Richie's yoga sessions.
Hey, man, you guys will enjoy it. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Important stuff.
Mm.
The health of yourself is important.
And the health of yourself is indeed important, but not nearly as important as everybody watching this smashing that like button for us. Let's go ahead and run this up, baby. Let's run these numbers up to have a like button smash for everybody that is viewing. And also do us a favor, folks. Please let it be known what team you are currently representing in the live chat and also in the comment section. Always curious to see how far we truly extend out into the NFL fan bases. But guys, yesterday we started off the show with Trey Hendrickson and his EVP of player personnel, or I forget what her position was specifically, Katie Blackburn, essentially said that he's going to get what he gets and he's going to like it, without saying that exactly. But that was largely the tonality from what we were able to call from it. He responded. Actually, it was during the episode on the Pat McAfee show where he called in. He was having a conversation, and rest be assured, he is pissed. He is pissed. It was quote unquote. He said, I woke up that morning and I saw that I was traded to 31 different teams via April Fool's jokes. And then I saw that. And I was really hoping that that was an April Fool's joke, but it was not. I called my agent. It was confirmed. It was said. And he has said that they have been nothing but poor communicators throughout this entire offseason about said contract. And rightfully so, if you ask me. Richie, thoughts on Trey Hendrickson's statement?
Yeah, it seems like it's trending towards no deal as of right now. I mean, you talk about what Trey Hendrickson is capable of doing as a pass rusher in this league, and then you look at what the Cincinnati Bengals did. They obviously are prioritizing their wide receivers over him. He's 31 years old, 17 and a half sacks back-to-back years. Maybe the Bengals don't want to give him the bag, and it seems like he's feeling like he's disrespected. And I understand why. You're seeing all these other guys on the team get taken care of instead of him. So interesting stuff. I don't know if the Bengals are going to be able to pull it off because it seems like they're trying to get him on a team-friendly deal while Hendrickson is trying to get the bag. And this is the usual contract dispute, man. The contract dispute. It's underway.
A contract dispute. Who knows how it will play out? TD, thoughts on the statement here from Trey Hendrickson, his response?
Yeah, it feels like the Bengals are abusing him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a good guy. He hasn't really been fussing. He just wants to get paid and get extended. And this is shocking. This is opposite of what we're used to. The organization is out here, making little sly, slick comments and things like that, which she should have never have done. And of course, he's frustrated by it and disappointed by it. But he still handled it classy, in my opinion. He didn't, really clap back um like he was really trying to push at them or anything like that. They need to figure this out and pay this man. But if they're going to play hardball like this, just trade him unless they feel like they can get him to play regardless. So you got to go after your money, Hendrickson. And, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not an advocate of playing nice in these situations. Go get your cash and make a few threats on your way getting it.
And go make a few threats on your way getting it. Solid advice here from TD Finns Talk, folks. And by the way, man, I'm glad that you're feeling a little bit better today. All right?
Are you, though?
Are you? TD?
I'm a little better.
All right, he's feeling a little better, man. We need to get this man stretched out. All right? That's what we need. Pause. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Let's move on to the next topic. I would say probably the biggest piece of news that we've seen in quite a few days, outside of all of the rule changes. Joe Milton, man. QB3, at least at a point for the New England Patriots, once they, of course, brought in Josh Dobbs this offseason to back up Drake May. But Joe Milton was hanging right in the possibility of being traded for potential compensation. As we know, he was drafted in the same draft class as Drake May and did pretty well right during his preseason opportunities, and many people were glorifying his Week 18 performance against third stringers in Buffalo on the final week of the NFL season. However, he's being shipped over to the Cowboys. The New England Patriots received a 5th-round pick. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say that he was drafted in the 5th round, or perhaps the 6th.
6th, I think.
6th round, I want to say. So I really like it for the New England Patriots. I think that they did ultimately end up getting the best possible compensation that they could have gotten from this QB. From what I understand, it sounds like quite a few teams were in the contest, about 5 or 6. Go ahead, Richie. You were about to say something?
Yeah, well, you got to add the context. They're not just getting a 5th-round pick. They had to give up a 7th. So they're basically just moving up 2 rounds. So it's not like they're getting a pick that they didn't have. They're moving up 2 rounds. And I saw something that the Patriots actually had better offers for Joe Milton, but they elected to go with the Cowboys because that's where Milton wanted to go. So they went with the direction of taking a lesser deal for them to help Joe Milton go to a destination they wanted. Maybe there's another team out there that offered more compensation, whether it's a 4th or a 3rd, who knows. And the Patriots did not want to do that because they obviously wanted to make Joe Milton happy, and he wanted to be a Cowboy. So that's another piece of context that I wanted to add that I saw. And it was a 6th-round pick for Joe Milton, right? In terms of that's where they drafted him. And now they basically essentially move up from the 7th to the 5th round. They traded up in the draft for Joe Milton.
Now, say that you think about it, it's probably so, especially considering Dak Prescott's injury history, this is probably the best opportunity for him to actually get NFL snaps this upcoming year. And granted, there is a limited sample size of him starting in the NFL, just 1 game against backups in preseason, obviously. But the Cowboys walked away from Cooper Rush and obviously Trey Lance, who is just months away from being the MVP of the CFL. You heard it here first. Is Joe Milton an upgrade
they don't have a backup.
from they didn't. Is Joe Milton an upgrade from the backups over in Dallas, and that is over Cooper Rush and also a good friend, Trey Lance? Richie, thoughts on this move for the Dallas Cowboys? What does this mean?
I love it. They don't have a backup. Cooper Rush is gone. Trey Lance is headed to the CFL. Will Grier is their only quarterback on the roster behind Dak. Dak's coming off an injury. I think it made too much sense for them. They need insurance behind Dak Prescott. And Joe Milton balled out in his only sample size that we saw last year. Granted, it was against Buffalo's backups, but I think he definitely showed a lot. And I really love the upside there with Joe Milton. You saw what he did in Tennessee, big arm. I actually wanted the Jets to consider drafting him last year. It was between Joe Milton and Jordan Travis for me. The Jets elected to go with Travis over him. I think that he still has upside, and him sitting and learning behind Dak Prescott with Dallas, it makes sense. And I agree with you, Dan. He's going to get an opportunity to play because Dak has proven that he's not able to stay healthy. So we'll see.
We shall see indeed. TD, thoughts on Joe Milton becoming a Dallas Cowboy?
Yeah, this has a lot more to do with Dak Prescott than many would realize, in my opinion. The Dallas Cowboys aren't looking for a backup quarterback. They're looking for a franchise quarterback. And no, what I mean by that is we know that Dak is a franchise quarterback right now, but until they're in a position to actually invest in the first round, high in the first round for a guy they love and is proving it in the collegiate level, they're going to keep trying to strike out and seeing if they can find the Purdy, find the Brady. They're going to keep on bringing that young talent in, saying, hey, maybe one day, Dak gets hurt and the guy we put in sparks the team and he's the future. Have we forgotten how Dak Prescott got his start? Have we forgotten, was Dak Prescott a first-round pick? Wasn't he like a third or fourth? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, he was like a third or fourth round pick.
So that's what the Cowboys are looking for. The next fourth round pick or whatever it may be, the next guy who nobody sees coming and shocks them and balls out and takes the reins of the team so they can save a lot of money. Because they're just not in a position. Like, they would have loved to have gotten Shador or Cam this year and move on from Dak. But they weren't in a position to do so. And this is why, every year they debate on whether, do we pay Dak? And they end up paying him. This is the Russell Wilson contract all over again. The only difference is at least Russ got them a Super Bowl early in his career whenever he had everything around him. Mm-hmm. And now the Cowboys, what seems like they have more around them, are doing actually worse. And Dak's getting hurt. So that's what this is about. They don't have any plans for him to be the long-term answer unless he's the long-term answer. They're just striking. They're just, swinging the bat. Ooh, do we have a little something here? Can he spark? Can he shock us? Yay! Or no, let's move on to the next one. And you saw that. You saw that last year. The same thing with Trey Lance. So for everybody out here talking about the Cowboys are confusing everybody, they don't know what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're trying to, because Jerry Jones realized I can't win with Dak making this kind of money. That's why Dak was a relief from Tony Romo when he started making that kind of money. I can't. And Seattle learned that with Russell. Everybody learns it eventually. And who's going to stand up and stop giving them that big deal, wasting time? We shall see.
We have Jerry Jones over here. He's like, save me from Dak Prescott, man. You know what? I have Dak Prescott's contract up right here. And you know what? As much as we would love to say, hey, you know what? I think that they could move on from him, or they are trying to plan an exit strategy from what appears to be a failed experiment, right? They don't necessarily have an out on the contract until 2028. So say, for example, that they were to trade him next offseason. I think it's pretty clear that Dak is going to be running it. And of course, you see all those little things on X be like, oh my God, Dak's in the best shape of his life. He looks so good. Like I've seen this story a million times. Trading him does not look ideal next year. Even if they did trade him pre-June 1st, they're losing $16 million on their cap savings or / their cap space. Even if they traded him after June 1st, while they saved $40 million, they would still take on a $34 million dead cap hit that year and $55 million in 2027. So one would assume, unless they're willing to pull a Denver Broncos sort of move and just go through a really terrible year of cap hell, I feel like he's going to be there at least until 2027. No? Or do you think that an exit strategy for Dak Prescott could be as soon as next offseason? TD.
Well, TD's been saying they're going to trade him for 3 years in a row now.
Well, Richie, has it not looked like they've wanted to? And even if they didn't, how has that worked out for them?
Well,
how has it worked out for
them? They
them?
haven't done it.
And I get that. I get
when
that
healthy, it's been working out pretty well, but he hasn't been healthy. That's his problem.
Has it been working out well healthy? What have you accomplished healthy?
Yeah, successful regular season,
Yeah, Tony Romo all over again. Yeah, but that's the point. If any team in the NFL outside of the New York teams who has high expectations, the Dallas Cowboys. And that isn't even close to the expectations that they look for every single year, competing deep in the playoffs. Dak Prescott hasn't done that. He has not competed deep into the playoffs. No NFC championship rounds for Dak. No. Jerry Jones knows that they're failing.
Jerry Jones knows that they are failing. Richie, would you agree that the Dallas Cowboys are more than likely stuck with this? So what appears to be a terrible contract.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they're going after Joe Milton to get a nice backup with upside and cheap contract. I don't know. Dak Prescott, he's one of those quarterbacks that's great in the regular season, fumbles in the playoffs, and has to really prove himself to be able to stay healthy. So I think they're definitely stuck with him. Their hands are tied behind their backs with Dak Prescott for the next few years for Joe.
Real quick. Somebody said Dak has a whole 2 playoff wins. And this is the problem, especially with for the Dolphins. We think a playoff win means something. Like anybody in their right mind know the wild card round doesn't matter. Hey. The wild card round, like, have you forgotten they actually added a seed in the wild card round? Like that is nobody looks at the wild card round as the playoffs.
I'll give you a break, bro. If 2-1 a playoff game in the wild card round, Dolphins fans would be throwing a parade, bro.
Yeah, they would, and that's the shame of it all. That's the shame of it all. That's what their aspirations are, just winning a playoff game. That's how delusional we are, thinking that a first-round win is everything. It means
okay, so let me ask you
nothing.
this. So should we not be reading into Houston the last 2 years, 2 straight years with 2 wild card wins and then getting bounced in the divisional round? CJ Stroud?
You shouldn't be reading into Houston, the team. How did CJ play in those 2 games? Balled out. So ain't no ad. That first round of playoff, they weren't the hot stuff out there. CJ made some plays out of nowhere, especially last year to win that game. Because remember, we talked about it. You didn't have the greatest of season, but the only thing that matters is how you perform in the playoffs. And he showed up for
the playoff format. They wouldn't have been home.
Well,
just saying.
It might have hurt them.
That's why I like the format. They deserve to get a home playoff game.
Yeah, but the difference is when you're evaluating quarterbacks, that's different from the team. From a team standpoint, it doesn't mean anything. Quarterback standpoint, yes, you talk about it. How did you play in that big game?
Richie's impromptu. Yeah. I got an impromptu, Dan.
You know what? I love your impromptus, Richie. Hit me.
Shout out to our Cincinnati Bengals representative, Zim, for putting this on his podcast, because I didn't know this. But apparently the Bengals, right? Their lease of their stadium was not extended, which means Kate Blackburn on the stadium lease negotiation, she says we could, I guess, go wherever we wanted after this year if we didn't pick up the option. Could the Bengals be relocating?
Dude. So did she hit happy hour like right before that speech? She has been saying some out-of-pocket stuff like during this NFL annual meeting. First off, she was telling Trey Hendrickson that he needs to be a good little boy and take whatever we decide to pay you. And now she's threatening that Cincinnati might move out of Cincinnati. Come on, man. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about?
I don't know, man. Owners say some crazy things. Did you hear what Woody Johnson had to say?
What's that?
Oh my God. You didn't hear it? TD?
No.
The Brooklyn Bengals.
You didn't hear it? Oh my God.
Brooklyn Bengals.
I can't believe you guys did not hear this. So Woody Johnson spoke at the annual meeting, and this just shows you how incompetent this human being is. He was asked about Justin Fields, and guess what he said?
Oh boy,
he thought he was
please.
somebody.
I'm starting to feel like I don't even want you to read this, Richie.
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
Why?
I don't know. Is he? Oh my gosh! Like you done put a lot of confidence behind this kid. Don't tell me what you're about to say is going to ruin that.
No, it just shows you. No, okay. It's just he's a hypocrite. It shows how incompetent Woody Johnson is. He says, this is his quote. And I want to see if you guys understand why this quote is funny and why I'm bringing it up. So listen to the quote. This is what he says about Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is going to be a total winner for us. I've been impressed with him since his college days. It was he or Trevor Lawrence. And I think he is going to be really good. Now, do you understand why that quote is? I had to bring it up, Dan.
I don't, but I hear Trevor Lawrence in there. It looks like y'all wanted to pick him or Trevor Lawrence.
I think Justin Fields is going to be the total winner for us. I've been impressed with him since his college days. It was he or Trevor Lawrence, and I think he is going to be really good.
Come on, Richie, fill us in.
You don't get it? All right. I'll give you a clue. The Jets had the 2nd overall pick in this draft.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And it was between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, according to Woody Johnson. So why did they draft Zach Wilson? It was he or Trevor Lawrence. Really, Woody? It was between him, Fields, and Lawrence when you have the 2nd pick in the draft that year. So tell me that's not the most hypocritical, crazy thing.
So was that the point when he was an ambassador?
I think it was 2021. So or
was it during the time where he wasn't present?
I think that was the year he came back. So maybe Christopher Johnson was there, but
yeah,
come on, man. Tell me that's not the most incompetent thing, bro. It was he or Trevor Lawrence that year, even though we didn't draft him with the 2nd pick. Like,
it was him or Trevor Lawrence, man. We just drafted Zach Wilson because I just wanted to piss off the people in New York for a little bit.
How crazy is that, man? It just shows you how funny and hypocritical that man is.
Well, you know what, Richie? So you could have all of your answers, right? And you could redeem sins of the past.
Hey, man, Justin Fields wasn't meant to be drafted here. He was meant to suck on Chicago just so we can bring him in here in free agency and succeed.
That should mean he's lying. No.
So I'm going in that direction because it sounds like there's a lot of hype right now that our boy Jaxson watched the tape Dart. All right. Maybe going top 10 in the NFL. In fact, I saw this on X. I saw Dan Orlovsky discussing it on the Pat McAfee show a bit earlier this afternoon. Hype is building around this guy. And I think that I can reflect back because last year we saw like 4 quarterbacks go in the first 12 picks, or maybe even more. And not a lot of people saw it. And there are quite a few quarterback needy teams. I don't know, guys. Is he a top 10 pick? Will he be a top 10 pick? Let's not even discuss of whether or not that on paper he's a top 10 prospect. But I'm not sure about you guys, but I have a feeling that he will go within the top 10. Whether or not that's with the Las Vegas Raiders, it's potentially the New York Jets, which I know a lot of Jets fans are hoping that it's not a QB. Maybe the New Orleans Saints. I think we get a repeat of last year where we see more QBs go in the first round than we initially anticipated. What if there was a world where he was selected over Shedeur Sanders? Is that completely out of?
I think we also have to add this. Name one person, one human being that knew ball enough that predicted the Atlanta Falcons to draft Michael Penix last year. You did not predict that. You liked Michael Penix. That's not what I'm saying. You did not say the Falcons are going to draft him, though.
I said that you'll be shocked if you look up and he's gone in the top 15.
You didn't say top 10.
Well, no, I didn't. But top 15, that includes the top. So I said that Michael Penix could go in the top 15.
There's got to be an AI.
Last year is a perfect example. Like there was a run on quarterbacks all of a sudden, bro. Like And
so there
that
has to be
happens.
like some sort of AI software that like you could just type in a phrase and it just scrolls through all of your content for years past
You
to
can do
really
that
keep
on
track
X.
of your hot takes. You know what I mean?
You can do that on X,
Yeah, I know, but like I'm talking more like on to the
YouTube.
podcast side of things / YouTube.
Yeah.
Because damn, like we say a lot, right? We say a lot with this brand, all right? Probably going up close to around 1 million words.
I remember what you guys were saying about Bo Nix last year.
Yeah, listen, I was wrong about Bo Nix, but we will see how the sophomore slump treats this man. But anyway, further comments on this. Is Jaxson Dart a top 10 pick this year? Will a team end up reaching TD? Talk to me.
I believe so because he has potential to be a franchise quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's raw. There's some things that you would love for him to do better. See, here's how I look at it. You got those quarterbacks that played somewhat elite in college, and you always look at them, first round. They're top. They're one of the guys going in the top 5, top 10. But then you have guys who play very sound with less than and just missed out on some of the flash of the intangibles that got them all the way up there with the hype, but they're still good, solid quarterbacks with good intangibles. Yeah, those guys can go top 10 anytime. It just takes the right team that says, you know what, hey, man, let's get this guy. We're going to bring him in and we're going to – and it could be a team that got a veteran. And that's what it's about. It could be the Pittsburgh of the world. It could be the Giants. It could be, one of those teams that have a veteran quarterback with not a lot of guaranteed money. So you bring him in, you compete. If they win the job, then they are obviously worthy. And if they don't win the job, they get to develop behind a quarterback who's been there and done that. So, yeah, that's the name of the game in the NFL today. But here's the deal. I don't see anybody else. I don't see anybody else eclipsing that mantle. But Jaxson Dart, I'm going to put him top 20. He will go in the top 20 this year. And I think somebody will make a move for him and go grab him.
The top 20. Someone said Carolina. Stop sleeping on our boy Bryce Young. All right.
Y'all boy.
A crazy season incoming for our boy Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, bro. I'm buying stock in him.
I'm buying a lot of stock in Bryce Young.
Richie, leave it to your portfolio manager.
But hey, you know what? Like, let's wait for like an actual storyline to come out about Bryce Young.
Luckily, my
Richie
portfolio
is because honestly, Richie and I could probably spend about 25 minutes glazing Bryce Young. All right, he's our guy right there. But Richie, are there any further comments on Jaxson Dart potentially going top 10 before we just make a transition?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love this topic because I have been on record to be a fan of Jaxson Dart. I think what makes him special is his ability to stretch the field. His arm is legit, but the question is, will it translate from the processing side of things? And I think that there's going to be a run on quarterbacks. And I think that's something that we've seen in years past. And I don't know if I can say he's worth a top 10 pick, but the value of the position where if it hits and he's drafted in the top 10 and becomes a franchise quarterback, then absolutely he's worth a top 10 pick. So I think the Saints make the most sense. If there was a team in the top 10, I'd be shocked if the Jets took him at 7 at this stage. But I think that there's a big opportunity for him to go in the top 10 because of all of the, history repeats itself with these teams. And I feel like you look at a lot of the drafts in the recent years, there's no reason to believe why he can't go top 10 because the quarterback position is tended to be a little bit overdrafted.
Yeah. It does indeed. It does indeed. And you know what? Speaking of top 10, and even a team that could potentially go for Jaxson Dart would be the Las Vegas Raiders. However, we saw a story break the other day that Mark Davis's son, the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, sounds like he would completely disown his family if they did not go for Ashton Genty in the top 10. Obviously, this running back has quite a bit of hype going into the draft class. And you know what? Like, we have been discussing the AFC West because we've been kind of trying to think about like what's going to be the most competitive division. I'm kind of leaning toward the AFC West But I think it all depends on what the Raiders draft class is going to look like. So I got to ask you, they locked down Max Crosby. Wilkins should be back. Secondary probably still needs a couple of pieces sprinkled here and there, but this is a very deep class all across the board. Would Ashton Genty be the pick for the Las Vegas Raiders? Or since this class is so deep, should they wait? Maybe get a Scatabo, or maybe get somebody, that one running back out of North Carolina, perhaps. What do you think about this? Ashton Genty to Vegas, is that a pick that you can just lock in? I'm going to go to Richie on this one first.
I like it. I feel like there is a shift in the value of the running back position recently, which I like.
Yeah.
I think Saquon Barkley proved that this past season. I think that the running back position, the value at the running back spot is there. And I feel like Ashton Genty, could you argue he's the best prospect coming out of the college since Saquon? I mean, who's a better prospect than him at that position? Zeke? But Zeke was before Saquon, right? If I'm not mistaken. So who's the better prospect? I feel like Ashton Genty, and let's not forget, Saquon went second overall. I think those days are done, because I feel like I don't ever see a running back go to the top 5. But Ashton Genty, bro, going to Vegas makes so much sense. That team needs a running game, and I feel like he's a difference maker, bro. This guy's built like a horse, man, and he can absolutely make people miss in the open field, run through you. He's a dog. So I think Ashton Genty going to Vegas would be a really smart option for them. If he does not go to Vegas, man, I'm really curious to see where he ends up. And I'm not going to sleep on Omarion Hampton from UNC. He's another dog that I really, really like. So I'm excited to see where Ashton Genty ends up, because the running back position is an interesting one, man. And I'm excited to see where he ends up. Vegas with Geno Smith and Pete Carroll, and they're trying to replicate that Marshawn Lynch day, huh?
Marshawn Lynch day,
Marshawn
man.
Lynch.
We'll see. TD, is this something we can etch in stone for the Las Vegas Raiders?
No, it depends on who's on the board. Who's available. I mean, what if Travis Hunter is there?
He's a Jet. If that happens,
I'm just saying. What if Travis Hunter is there? You don't go Ashton Gentry. You go Travis Hunter. But if the big players are off the board and Genty is there, yeah, you get him. You got to get that weapon, because he's the closest thing that's expected to be, a Saquon or Derek or whatever may have you. You got to take that weapon. This is a game changer, potentially supposed to be. So yeah, you gotta roll the dice on it, unless you want to get a quarterback. But no, you got to go with Genty, get the running back. It'll help your current quarterback, and you got you a weapon for years to come. Somebody you can lean on, somebody who's shown his skills can really translate to the NFL. So yeah, you got to take him if he's there.
And the chat reminds me about Bijan Robinson. That was definitely another prospect that was as good as Genty coming out of college. Bijan.
Yeah, what
has
a
he lived up
waste.
to it? Has he lived up to it though?
Yeah, dude, like he's had like the most quietest, crazy productive seasons as a running back you could find.
He looked at the numbers. He's like, oh yeah,
the
he's
Atlanta
baller.
Falcons are just terrible. Like it's just a shit
Jameer
organization.
Gibbs as well. Jameer Gibbs went 11, I think, to Detroit.
It's funny because Bijan Robinson never really comes into the conversation as one of the best running backs in the NFL. Like we just think about Saquon. Oh my God, Saquon immediately, and then
James Cook.
Yeah, for example. But I'm gonna go on ahead and pull up. Dude, his first 2 years.
Bijan's a beast.
Dude,
he did kind of underwhelm though. Last year I had been fantasy, and I wasn't really that impressed.
Get this. Here's a shock. He rushed for 1,400 yards last year and 14 touchdowns, dude. What? He rushed for 14 touchdowns and almost 1,500 yards.
How many through the air? Did he almost have 2,000 all-purpose?
I got to check out. So he had 61 receptions. So let me see. 61 receptions. Let me see. His yards in receiving, 487.
So almost 2,000.
He almost had, wow. It goes to show you how the Atlanta Falcons, man, holy hell, dude, they are pissing away some quality talent, some prime years
Kyle
Dude,
Pitts.
you know what, man? Bijan Robinson is going to be, in a couple of years, the next Saquon Barkley. He's going to get traded over to a team, and like whatever team ends up grabbing him is going to win the Super Bowl that year. It's going to be another Saquon Barkley story from Bijan Robinson, 110%. No, like no questions asked. Zero questions asked. But you know what? It's funny because I do kind of want to stick with the AFC West here, because like we've all been arguing on who's going to be the most competitive division in football. And remember, folks, since the 7th seed has been incorporated into the NFL playoffs, it's technically possible that all 4 teams could potentially make the playoffs. Last place could as well, with all 3 wildcard spots. And I think it's largely, I'd say, heavily debated between the AFC West, the NFC North, and the NFC North. But I was able to pull something up, which I think you guys might find intriguing. I think it comes off based off of competition of what's about to be the most competitive. And it's clear that the AFC North is the Browns, who, in my opinion, are tanking for Arch Manning. And we could definitely make that a topic after this because, oh, man, I'm hungry about an Arch Manning topic. But the AFC West, they are facing the AFC South and the NFC East this year. And the AFC North is facing the AFC East and the NFC North in their schedule. Who is going to be the most productive win percentage division in all of football? Because if, like I said, I'm high on the Chargers. Harbaugh year 2, I really think they're going to bounce back exactly where they were. They were a playoff team. Same thing with the Denver Broncos. They arguably have the best defense in the NFL, especially with all the moves that they've made this offseason. And now you introduce Pete Carroll, head coach. You have Geno Smith, who is a productive QB. He thrived when Pete Carroll was over at the Seahawks. Is the AFC West the best division in football in 2025? And obviously with the Kansas City Chiefs, let's be real. TD, what do you got on this?
No, because of the Raiders. They won't be because of the Raiders. It's still the AFC North. The Bengals going to get their act together this year. And I don't think a single team in that division is winning less than 10 games. Now, one team is going to win less than 10 games.
Who?
Did I say it right? Is it the AFC North with Baltimore?
Yeah, I'm proud of you,
the
man.
Browns, you have winning 10 games, though.
Oh, crap. The Browns in that division.
Yeah,
no, never mind.
The best division is the other North.
NFC North?
Yeah.
Let's let TD figure it out, Dan. He's trying to figure out.
I know the NFC North. I know them for sure.
Yeah,
that's the Vikings, Lions, Green Bay, and Bears.
But yeah,
I still don't know what to expect from the Bears. Yeah, they got a new coach, but we don't know. And we don't know what JJ McCarthy's gonna look like.
I know he ain't no Sam Darnold.
Wow.
Stop it, Rich. He probably better. But
he ain't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
willing to go on a limb and make a bet right now that the Vikings, JJ McCarthy is not going to be as good as Sam, and they're not going to touch their win total. They're going to regress.
You know, you might be right, Richie, but they'll probably have more success in the playoffs.
No, they're going to get bounced in the first round if they make it. Same thing.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put something on that.
I think the Bears will be better than the Vikings this year.
Listen, man, you got this obsession with Sam Darnold. He gone and
Sam
you want
Darnold,
the team
bro.
to bomb
I was
so
never
better.
It's not about Sam, bro. This is about.
So I feel like Richie feels about Sam Darnold the same way that you feel about Ryan Tannehill.
But Sam can actually move around the pocket like Ryan Tannehill sits there.
It's the same like love affair, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's more about my expectation of the Bears actually figuring it out. I really am high on Caleb Williams, man. I feel like he's about to be unleashed, bro. Like I feel like that's one quarterback that everyone's sleeping on because they're falling in love with Jaden Daniels' success, which you should. I mean, what he did last year was sensational. But I feel like they're forgetting Caleb Williams' upside, and he looked really good in a very bad situation with Chicago. Now insert Ben Johnson and a revamped offensive line. Like, dude, I think the Bears, I know last year the hype was around the Bears in the offseason, but now I think the hype should be back. I believe in them.
So I'll tell you this.
I got my best division in football.
Go ahead.
NFC East.
The Giants tear them down significantly.
No. You know what? Here's what I'll say about the Giants. The Giants could win 8 games. That's not like we ignore the Giants and they're just so terrible that no matter what they do, we just dismiss them. You know, they had a few additions, you know, Javon Holland, you know, they got 2 quarterbacks that can at least be competent. But this isn't about the Giants. It's not about the Giants. You have the Super Bowl reigning champs who's still going to win 12 games, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the Commanders are going to win 14 games, in my opinion. And the Cowboys will get back to their little raggedy 10-11. So it does depend on the Giants, but I don't see it's either them or the AFC West. That's where I'll leave it.
I would see the AFC East, but then the Dolphins and Patriots ruin it.
We have Danger Zone coming in with a $2 donation, which I like. If you were Buffalo/Kansas City and don't need quarterback in 2026, go get Genty.
Well, that's impossible because he's not falling that far, and trading up to top 10 isn't happening either.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't see that. Like, not unless, like, there's a shot heard around the world where all these GMs look at how deep this class truly is and running backs fall. Like, running backs could fall because, like, as deep of a class this running back or this entering running back personnel is.
But you don't pass on
no other position group is as deep as that one.
But you still don't pass on the one.
Yeah, you're right on that. You're right.
TD Finstock.
Yeah, you know, you're right on that one too. But saw something earlier this morning, and I think Jimmy Haslam, owner over at the Cleveland Browns, has been interesting, right? Like he's been saying a couple of things. He owned up on making a giant mistake by getting Deshaun Watson. Said something else that was pretty clear. Like he was really being open with fans. And we're hearing all sorts of rumors that they are going to be targeting Abdul Carter rather than taking a Shedeur Sanders, rather than taking a QB early in the season. Are they tanking for Arch Manning? Are they Listen, someone's got to do it.
Wait, who?
Because there's always a trend, right? Like every single year, we heard tank for Tua. We heard tank for Trevor. And both of those, well, actually, you know what? I really hope that Arch Manning's name is not attached to that because it has not been a good strategy, especially with the 2 quarterbacks that these teams have specifically tanked for. But
who's tanking for
the Browns? Are they tanking for Arch Manning? TD.
Yeah, they are if they go Abdul Carter. Because they're just letting another year of Deshaun Watson's contract be paid, and then then they can reasonably take their lumps, you know, in dead cap after that. They just can't take it now. The problem with tanking for Arch Manning is that about 4 teams are.
Who is tanking for Arch Manning?
The Browns, as we just stated. The Giants, I believe, are going to be tanking for him. They're trying to have this whole Manning cycle come full circle, you know, bring Manning back because Eli got him 2 Super Bowls. And the Dolphins are tanking for Arch. And Richie laughing when the Jets might be doing it too. But
they could be.
Define tanking for Arch. Like, what does that even mean? You're going to go out there and lose?
It means you're going to go out there. You're not really going to invest like major capital in your team. You're just going to build your team knowing that you're going to be sub 500.
It's okay. First of all, any team that has that mindset, fire their coaching staff immediately. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like you need to be discreet.
Knowing you're going to be sub 500, that is manifesting.
No,
that is
listen. It's a part of the game now.
It's not a part of the game, bro. If you're a coach, if you're believing that going into a season, bro, that is a definition of a losing mindset. Get that guy out.
The Tennessee Titans about to get Cam Ward for doing it.
Yeah, so I think that So I think
they're just bad.
that there are 3 identifiable teams who could be tanking for Arch Manning in the 2026 season, right? It's the Cleveland Browns, number 1, especially if they take Abdul Carter. Like, that's just the sign all around. I don't think Stefanski's on as much of a hot seat as people think that he is, because I do think that the owner is taking some sort of accountability for the Deshaun Watson sort of situation. And they saw what he was able to do with Joe Flacco 2 years ago. They saw like how he was able to work with Baker Mayfield during the beginning of the relationship. The Saints are also one to me. Saints are also one to me that could potentially be in the conversation and or are thinking about tanking for Arch Manning. And Richie, I hate to say this, but the Jets too, because like what I'm trying to do is like, I'm trying to identify teams that haven't been that aggressive during free agency, that have a relatively somewhat of, so a head coach that is recently hired enough to where his job would be safe regardless of the outcome of the season in 2025. And I think those are the 3 teams that fit the bill: the Jets, the Saints, the Browns.
I mean, I get that, but I disagree that those 3 teams are going into the season with that in mind. Like, oh, yeah, we're not good enough, man. So let's just see what we can do and then try to go after Arch Manning next year. Like, that is not how the NFL works, man. I just disagree.
It is, Richie.
No, it's not, bro. That's a fan perspective. That's a fan narrative, 100%. No coach is going into this season saying to themselves, talking to the coaching staff that you assembled, the players, and saying, hey, man, we know we're not good enough to win games, so we're going to go out there, we're going to put our best foot forward, try to build an identity, and then we're going to get our quarterback in the draft. Like, that's just not how it works.
It has nothing. Tanking has nothing to do with the coach. In 2025, in 2020 on up, tanking has nothing to do with the coach anymore. The goal of tanking is give the coach a roster that he gonna lose with. Why you think Brian Flores, they were mad at him? We gave you a complete roster to lose, and you out here winning in a lawsuit. Take a vacation, man. You don't have to win. The goal is to give the coach a roster that you can't win with this. And if you win anyway, you get the front office mad. That's what tanking is. That has nothing to do with the coach. The coach can go out and do their job. The general manager lines it up where there's no future contracts. They have it in free agency. They didn't invest in anything long term, just the immediate moment. They let good talent walk. It's all of it's coming into play. But hey, let's go out and compete. Let's go out and compete. You ain't winning the Super Bowl. Any team that know that they don't have a real shot at winning the Super Bowl, in essence, to a certain degree, you're tanking. And that's what the Dolphins did, Richie. They did it, tried and true. And guess what they're doing now?
They made it for it, though, and
got caught and lost the first round pick.
Which is why no one's doing that anymore.
No, the only reason we got caught is because of the Flores situation. All you have to do is look at a team's roster and say, did you really make moves in this offseason to go get better and try to compete? There are teams that just don't.
How come, like the Giants, for example, how come they won a football game in the last game of the season to ruin their opportunity to get the first overall pick if they were quote unquote tanking?
And believe it or not, in that front office, there are some people that are not happy about it. There are some people that are not happy about it. That's why it has nothing to do. That's why it has nothing to do with the coach. Tanking, they ever since the Flores thing, hey, this has nothing to do with the coach. We just got to do a good job of putting a roster that they can't win anyway so we can get the guy we want. I'm telling you, these teams out here is a part of the game now. They see a guy they want, they got to go get it. They got to go get him. They just got to do a good job showing that they're not trying to.
These are assumptions.
Like teams, you're making an assumption they don't, too.
Damn.
That's an assumption, too. But the evidence has been there.
Dude, you know what? Richie, just don't watch the TikTok I'm about to fire off after this episode, man.
If you say the Jets are tanking for Arch Manning, I am going to
crash out. Good.
Put you on Jets radar blazing. Your comment section will be flooded with Jets fans.
Well, like I've told you before, man.
Geno got
my target audience, baby. That's my target audience. Haters are my target audience, baby. Come on, you know that.
Breaking news.
Geno got paid.
Geno, breaking news.
Yeah,
I'm doing it right now.
Extension.
No way.
Yeah, Smith gets a 2-year extension and a deal done by Shaffy Fields, whatever.
For who?
Vegas locks in their quarterback. It's to better compensate him.
To better compensate him, we're still looking for the specifics of the deal. Have we seen the specifics of the deal, folks?
No. Breaking news, folks.
I'm locking in. Damn,
crazy.
Oh, shit. Hold up. See, y'all making me nervous. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking NFL news. A lot of speculation about what the future was for Geno Smith at the Las Vegas Raiders. Was he a placeholder for a QB that they could potentially select in the first round of the NFL draft? It looks like Pete Carroll and company and the Raiders organization said, nah, he's a bit more important to the future plan than initially anticipated. Geno Smith just locked down a 2-year contract extension, still sitting here, still waiting for some of the contract specifics to come out as far as guarantees, as far as value, what have you. But needless to say, we have a contract extension for Geno Smith. There you go, baby.
He's under contract for 3 years.
Oh, my phone died. Damn, man.
Wow.
I was going to be the first one to drop it on the video world, you know?
On the Roundtable Sports account?
Yes.
Really?
No. Don't worry. I got some stuff cooking up for Roundtable Sports, man. You have no idea. Folks,
congrats, Geno.
Thank you.
We have a Patreon mailbag from...
Oh!
Yeah, we can't miss out on the Patreon mailbags. From Lissell. What about Woody Johnson saying it's ridiculous that he got an F rating on the NFLPA's report card?
It's called delusion.
So they asked Woody, like, what's your thoughts of being ranked F? And he's like, it's crazy. I don't understand why. Come on, Woody, have some self-awareness. We all know why, bro. You're a bad owner.
That's sad, though. That's actually a bigger problem, though, Richie. For him to come out and say that, that's actually a major issue. Like, he needs to take that serious. It shouldn't be why. I don't know why. It should be, you know what? That means the players and people have spoken. And, you know, I'm going to do all I can to improve that grade moving forward. But just to say, he dismissed it. He totally dismissed it. He doesn't care to say, oh, I don't know why. That means he totally dismissed it. He doesn't care to improve it either. That's not good, man. Not good for the Jets organization.
Nope. Tune in to Draftaholics later today. I think it's starting at 6 p.m. Definitely go check them out, folks. Colby is hosting it with Bro Schmo, Derek, and Dose of Dion every Thursday, folks, on this YouTube channel. So all you guys got to do is subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time they go live.
Every time they go live, indeed. Folks, we cannot thank you enough for making Fourth and Forever a part of your daily routine. To catch up on all of the NFL news, rumors, hot takes from all three of us. Man, we cannot thank you enough for your commitment to the brand of Roundtable Sports, and we certainly hope to see you over at Draftaholics later this afternoon. Please smash that like button on your way out, and let's go around the table and have all of our hosts say goodbye. TD.
Yeah, smash the like button. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those who tune in every single day, we're greatly appreciative for watching Fourth and Forever. Y'all make sure you hit the like button. Let your friends and family members know that we are live each weekday from 2 to 3 p.m. And again, we're just thankful to everybody who watches and who's a part of the Fourth and Forever family.
What do you got, Richie?
Fourth and Forever family. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button on your way out. We appreciate all the love and the support as always. And we're out of here.
Folks, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.